Hello, everyone. My name is Jeanette Shaliga, and I'm a volunteer with the GRIP Genealogy Institute. It is my awesome job to get to interview all of the different course coordinators for the 2026 season. And today I've got Blaine Bettinger. Hey, Blaine.
Hello, how are you?
I am good. Thank you so much. Can you please share with everyone what the name of your 2026 GRIP course is?
Yes, it's pretty straightforward. It's called Advanced DNA Evidence.
Okay, and is this a repeat grip course or is this a brand new course?
This is a repeat course. So this has been offered the last couple of years, but there's always new material that we're adding because the field of DNA doesn't sit still.
Right, always changing,
Yeah.
always changing. And is this a virtual class or is it in person in Pittsburgh?
This is a virtual class this year.
Okay, and are you the only instructor or do you have other friends with you?
I am joined by the wonderful and incredibly knowledgeable Angie Bush in this
Oh,
class.
what a team the two of you make. I know because I've taken this class a few years ago. And so can you give everyone an overview of what they like the week would look like if they took this class?
So, advanced DNA evidence is uh, really the most in-depth scientific course for genetic genealogy that I think there is out there. It
Yeah.
really is intended to dive deep into the underlying science of genetic genealogy. So it's not just looking at your match list, trying to find connections. It's things like, what does this connection mean, right? What are the limits? And I think one of the goals is we're all trying to push the envelope of genetic genealogy, right? We're not trying to necessarily find grandma anymore. We want to find great, great, great grandpa, right? And so can we use DNA for that, or does it reach the limits of what we can do? And in order for us to be able to push the envelope that far back, we have to understand the underlying science. We have to understand the limitations of genetic genealogy so that when we do go back that far or push the envelope that far, we do so with full knowledge of what the limitations are, and that gives us a better chance at success. So over the course of this week, students will really dive deep into the underlying science of genetic genealogy. And also over the course of the week, one of my favorite things is a week-long homework exercise where each night the students will be given a new piece of the puzzle to work on, working towards, hopefully by Thursday night, solving or at least getting to a point they feel comfortable with this research problem. And then Friday morning, we go over it in detail. And I think it's a really fun part of the course, a really hands on application of what we're learning.
Okay, so let me see if I understand this correctly. So they can apply what they're learning to their own DNA, problems that they have, but also you have a preset out problem like that the whole class can work on together throughout the week. So therefore, if you teach a new technique and they don't have those things in their tree to practice it on, they have this example to work on to apply what they've learned.
Not everything that they learn, because we throw so much at them, right? But a lot of the fundamentals of what they're learning, they're going to be applying to this week long research project. Yes.
Understood. Thank you. And then also, as this is advanced, what are the prerequisites that an attendee should have under their belt before they sign up for it?
Although I think, that I personally, I'm biased. I think this is a great course for everyone, but someone that's relatively new to genetic genealogy just is going to get lost, I think, because they don't have the sort of the foundation that we're really building on, right? You've got to have a basement before you can build the rest of the house. And we're building the roof of the house here, I think, in many ways, because we're really pushing it so far. So typically we request that people have either done some week-long course in genetic genealogy at some other institute, not some other, but I mean any institute, right? It includes GRIP, SLIG, IGHR, things like that. Otherwise, if you're experienced enough, right, you've done things like, work through the workbook, Genetic Genealogy in Practice, you've read my other book, and you feel like I have a very solid foundation. Sometimes we can let people in with those as a prerequisite with the understanding that, there's we're we're letting you in. So there's a chance you might be a little bit overwhelmed. But I think, if
Okay.
you've been working with results for a couple of years and you're really trying to find connections, you're working with shared matching, you've done triangulation, right? You've used the shared centimorgan project, you're probably going to be okay for this course in terms of the prerequisites for this.
Mhm. Um, oh gosh, I had another question and then it just poofed out of my head. I got so excited. So I was like, oh, I do have Blaine's book. Oh, I remember my question. Um, if somebody took it, as you said, as it's always changing, do you think like repeat customers essentially too, like that this course would be something if they took once, 5, 6 years, 7 years ago, would be a good one to take again?
I think you're right. I think having a gap in there is important, right? If someone took it last year or the year before, probably not enough has changed. But I think what is probably happening, and ideally for me, what I would love to see is people take the course, right? Then they go and work on their own results, and they work and they work and they work, and at that point they might need, say, a refresher, or maybe a sort of a palate cleanser, maybe, to take the course again and kind of refocus on some of their problems. So, if it has been 3 or 4 years, it might be time again to take the course, not only because maybe you need that refresher, but also because there have been some significant changes over the past 3 or 4 years that might be part of the course.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I hope that everybody is interested in taking this class. And if they want to learn more, please visit the GRIP website, which is grip.ngsgenealogy.org. Blaine, thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, and I hope to see everyone there.
Yeah.